Welcome to a new chapter of life after 60, when you finally get to trade in the heavy luggage of life's unnecessary worries, expectations, and yes, even that collection of knickknacks gathering dust in the corner. This is the age where wisdom meets freedom, where we can stop chasing the things that don't serve us anymore and start embracing what truly matters. Think about it. How much of your life have you spent worrying about things that never really mattered? Obligations you didn't need, expectations you didn't ask for, and possessions that never brought the happiness they promised. Now is the time to say goodbye to all that baggage and embrace a lighter, simpler, and infinitely more joyful way of living. Today, we're diving into the 9 things that just don't make sense after 60. These are the aspects of life you can finally let go of, like old worries or unnecessary pressures, to walk lighter, live freer, and rediscover what truly brings you peace. So grab your favorite cup of tea, sit back, and let's start this journey of letting go and reconnecting with what really matters, shall we? The first thing is excessive preoccupation with other people's opinions. At some point in life, we realize that being overly concerned about what others think no longer makes sense. Most of us spend our younger years trying to please everyone, family, friends, co-workers. We bend ourselves to fit societal expectations, hoping for acceptance and a sense of belonging. But after turning 60, a spark of realization ignites. Other people's opinions don't define our worth. Take Linda's story, for example. Linda, a devoted woman, spent years worrying about what her neighbors thought of her garden. She dedicated hours each week pruning and trimming, not because she loved gardening, but because she feared criticism. One day, while cleaning out her shed, she stumbled upon an old journal where she'd written down her dreams. Linda realized she had never pursued them because she was too busy trying to meet everyone else's expectations. That day, she made a choice. She let her garden grow naturally and finally signed up for the art class she'd always wanted to try. Research from Stanford University reveals that focusing too much on others' opinions increases stress, affects heart health, and even shortens life expectancy. Worrying about judgment not only drains us emotionally, but also prevents us from living authentically. Stoic philosophy teaches that true freedom comes from letting go of things we can't control, and other people's opinions are among them. Once you free yourself from this burden, life becomes lighter. This doesn't mean becoming cold or indifferent. It means prioritizing yourself. You learn to live by your own values, principles, and goals. By releasing the fear of being misunderstood or criticized, you find peace in knowing you're doing what's right for you. So how do you let go of this worry? Start by self-reflecting. Are your actions truly for you or for someone else? Try journaling to identify situations where you feel external pressure, and most importantly, take small steps. Over time, you'll realize that others' opinions are just noise, and you are the conductor of your life symphony. The second thing is the accumulation of objects and material goods. As the years go by, it becomes increasingly clear that accumulating material possessions doesn't equate to true happiness. How many times have you looked around your home and noticed items you no longer use yet still hold on to? They take up space, not just in your home, but also in your mind, like tiny anchors keeping you tied to the past. Consider your closet, for example, filled with clothes you haven't worn in years, yet you keep thinking, one day I'll need this. The truth is that day rarely comes. These items not only lose their purpose, but also subtly become a burden. Research from Princeton University highlights this reality. Scientists found that cluttered environments can increase stress and reduce your ability to focus. Every unnecessary item you hold onto is a small reminder of something you haven't let go of. Decluttering isn't just a physical act, it's also a mental process. When you let go of items that no longer serve you, you're not just clearing your home, you're creating space in your mind. Stoic philosophy teaches us that happiness doesn't require much. In fact, sometimes less is truly more. Take Karen, a friend of mine, who decided to clean out her attic. She spent a week sorting through years of accumulated belongings. Afterwards, she told me how freeing it was to see her home feel lighter and more open. She donated unused items to charity and said it felt as though she had shed an invisible weight. The lesson here is simple. Declutter your space as a way to declutter your soul. Ask yourself as you hold each item, does this truly bring me joy? Does it serve any purpose in my life? If the answer is no, let it go. You'll find both your home and your mind feeling freer and lighter. Life isn't measured by the number of possessions we accumulate, but by how fully we enjoy each moment. Letting go of unnecessary material items is an act of liberation, enabling you to step into a new chapter with lightness and joy. Stoic philosophy encourages us to focus on what truly matters, freeing ourselves from the weight of material excess to embrace a life of peace and purpose. The third thing is unnecessary social obligations. Picture this. You're sitting comfortably in your favorite chair, a warm cup of tea in hand, and a rare sense of peace fills the room. Then the phone rings, an invitation to a wedding from someone you can barely remember. Do you find yourself contemplating going just because it feels rude to decline? If you're over 60, it's time to ask yourself why you let unnecessary social obligations steal your precious peace. Let's take a step back in time. Throughout your younger years, you probably spent countless evenings at events your heart didn't belong to, dull parties, forced gatherings, or polite obligations. But Stoic philosophy teaches us a profound truth. Life is short, and your energy is your most valuable resource. You don't need to spend it fulfilling someone else's expectations. A study from the University of California revealed that overcommitting to social activities that bring no genuine joy can increase stress levels and even shorten life expectancy. This isn't just an emotional issue, it directly impacts your physical and mental health. So how do you escape this cycle? I've been there myself. There was a time when I felt compelled to accept every invitation that came my way out of politeness, obligation, or simply to maintain appearances. I'd find myself at events where I barely knew anyone, making small talk that drained me more than I realized. The worst part? I often left those gatherings feeling even more tired and disconnected than before. Then one day, I decided to make a change. I started by saying no to one invitation that I truly didn't want to attend. It was harder than I expected. I worried about what people would think, whether I'd be seen as rude or ungrateful. But to my surprise, the world didn't end that evening. Instead of forcing a smile at a party, I stayed home, read a book I loved, and reconnected with myself. That small no felt like a giant leap toward reclaiming my peace. From then on, I became more intentional. I prioritized events and people that brought joy and meaning into my life. Instead of feeling obligated, I began to focus on what truly nourished my soul. The result? I felt lighter, happier, and more in control of my time. What's the takeaway here? Stoic philosophy doesn't suggest isolating yourself or cutting off social ties. Rather, it emphasizes making intentional choices. Spend your time on activities that truly enrich your spirit and soul. When you say no to what doesn't serve you, you're opening the door to say yes to peace and happiness. Ask yourself as you move past 60, do you want your life to be filled with meaningful moments or just a string of days spent meeting others' expectations? The choice is yours, and it's a privilege. Saying no isn't selfish. It's the highest form of self-respect. Life isn't about quantity, it's about quality. Sometimes quality comes from knowing when to step back, say no to what doesn't matter, and say yes to yourself. Because in the end, the freedom to choose is the greatest gift you can give yourself. The fourth thing is an exaggerated preoccupation with physical appearance. Imagine this. You're standing in front of the mirror one morning, a few silver strands of hair glinting at the top of your head, and you recall those ads for men's special shampoos promising to restore thick, jet-black hair. Suddenly, you pause and ask yourself, do I really need to worry about this? If you're over 60, the answer often lies in the life you've already lived. Throughout our lives, we've been surrounded by unrealistic standards of beauty and youth. Images of muscular, ageless men dominate media, leading us to believe that aging is something to fix. But Stoic philosophy teaches us that true value doesn't lie in outward appearance, but in how we live and accept ourselves. Real beauty doesn't need to be proven. It's found in the freedom of letting go of unattainable standards. A study from Yale University found that people with a positive attitude toward aging tend to live up to 7.5 years longer than those overly worried about their appearance. This shows that self-acceptance isn't just good for the soul, it's good for your health. I once knew a man named Richard, a retired engineer. Richard used to obsess over hiding the signs of aging. He spent hours every week at the gym hoping to regain his 30-year-old physique and experimented with anti-wrinkle products. But everything changed when he joined a local walking club. There, instead of worrying about his silver hair or less toned muscles, he began focusing on his health and the joy of connecting with others. One day he told me, "Every silver hair is a trophy, and every wrinkle is a memory. Why would I hide them?" Richard's story is a reminder that after a certain age, chasing unrealistic standards no longer matters. We can take care of ourselves, but not under the pressure to be perfect, rather out of love and respect for who we are. Staying healthy and active is important, but feeling comfortable in your own skin is even more so. Ask yourself, are those silver hairs or signs of time really a problem, or are they proof of a life well lived? Stoicism teaches us that instead of trying to control the uncontrollable, we should focus on how we perceive them. When you accept your body as it is, you'll feel lighter, happier, and freer. Life isn't about being flawless, it's about being authentic. True beauty doesn't lie in fitting into societal standards. It lies in the peace of knowing you don't have to prove anything to anyone. It's about freedom, acceptance, and above all, gratitude for yourself, especially when you face the mirror. The fifth thing, how many times have we found ourselves doing something just out of habit or because we thought it had to be done, even though we knew it didn't bring us any joy? For many years, think about this. Have you ever wondered why you continue doing things that no longer bring meaning or joy? Maybe it's waking up early every Sunday to tend to a garden you've already memorized every corner of, or attending a yoga class that no longer excites you just because it's routine. At some point, especially after 60, it's worth asking yourself, does this still make me happy? Does it fulfill me? If the answer is no, then it's probably time to reassess and make a change. Take Bill, for example, a retired accountant. Every day he would sit down to review old financial ledgers. He didn't need to do it anymore. His family was stable and he had no businesses to run. But it had been his habit for over 30 years and he felt like he couldn't stop. One day, his daughter gently said, "Dad, why don't you try something new, like the sculpting class you always said you wanted to take?" At first, he hesitated, but then he decided to give himself a chance. Within weeks, he wasn't just learning a new skill, he had also discovered the genuine joy of creating art with his hands. Bill's story is a reminder that living by habit doesn't always bring value. Sometimes, what we need is the courage to pause and look at life through a fresh lens. Stoic philosophy teaches us that instead of being stuck in the cycle of the familiar, we should focus on what truly matters and brings meaning. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have no obligation to do things that don't align with your purpose." This is a powerful reminder to live with intention rather than on autopilot. A study from Harvard University reveals that exploring new passions or trying unfamiliar activities can significantly improve mental health and life satisfaction, especially after the age of 60. This doesn't mean we need to abandon all our old habits, but choosing to invest our energy in activities that bring happiness and fulfillment is a transformative step. Ask yourself, what makes you want to get out of bed every morning with a smile? It could be learning a musical instrument, joining a book club, or simply spending more time with loved ones. Life isn't about a checklist of must-dos. It's about creating meaningful experiences. Time is the most valuable asset we have, and we shouldn't waste it on things that don't warm our hearts. Now is the time to break free from outdated routines, rediscover freshness, and live with clear purpose. Remember, there's no better moment to start than right now, because as Stoic philosophy reminds us, true fulfillment comes from living each moment with intention, joy, and purpose. And that's what life is really all about. The sixth thing is negative, toxic relationships. Sometimes we don't realize we're stuck in toxic relationships until they've drained most of our peace and energy. It might be a friend who constantly brings negativity, a colleague who thrives on comparison, or even a family member who's relentlessly critical. These relationships don't add value to our lives. They take it away. They take away confidence, joy, and balance. After 60, we're no longer obligated to maintain these connections simply because they've been around for a long time. Instead, this is the perfect time to reevaluate who we want to keep in our lives. I remember hearing about Tom, a man who always tried to please everyone. Tom had a group of friends he played chess with weekly, but every session was filled with complaints, criticism, and endless arguments. After each gathering, he'd go home feeling drained and frustrated, as though his energy had been sucked out. One day, after reading about Stoic philosophy, he started asking himself, "Why am I putting myself through this? Are these people really adding value to my life?" Eventually, he decided to quit the chess meetups and joined a hiking group instead. The result? Not only did he discover a new passion, but he also met people who brought positivity and a sense of connection into his life. Tom's story is a powerful reminder of an important lesson. Distancing yourself from toxic relationships isn't selfish, it's self-care. Stoic philosophy teaches that while we can't control other people's actions, we have complete power over how we react and who we choose to surround ourselves with. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." The truth is, the people around us directly influence the quality of those thoughts. Research from the University of California has shown that positive relationships not only improve mental health, but can also increase life expectancy. This isn't just about emotions, it's about our health and overall quality of life. So if you're surrounded by people who constantly bring negativity, now is the time to ask, do I really need to keep enduring this? Remember, life is too short to spend it with people who don't respect you or bring anything positive to your life. This isn't about cutting ties with everyone. It's about making wise choices and keeping those who make your life better. The people who respect you, share your values, and bring joy are the ones worth your time and attention. The rest? Let them go without guilt or regret. Stoic philosophy teaches that true freedom comes from controlling what you can, and that includes protecting your peace. By doing so, you'll not only live with greater ease, but also create space for the things and people that truly matter to enter your life. The seventh thing is comparisons with other people's lives. One of the biggest traps, perhaps in life, is the habit of comparing ourselves to others. It starts early, comparing grades at school, our first jobs, or even the size of our house to the neighbors. Over time, this seems to become second nature. But after turning 60, you begin to realize that these comparisons don't just waste your energy, they also pull you further away from your true self. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever scrolled through social media and stumbled upon photos of an old friend vacationing at a luxury destination, or seen a former colleague post about their child receiving a prestigious scholarship? In that instant, did you find yourself wondering, why haven't I achieved what they have? Is there something missing in my life? These thoughts can linger, overshadowing everything you've accomplished. A loving family, years of hard work, and the priceless memories no one can take from you. But remember, what you see is only part of the story. Research from Stanford University has shown that excessive use of social media can lead to greater dissatisfaction with life, because what we see is often the most polished version of others' lives, not the full reality. Stoic philosophy offers a powerful solution. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be." This reminds us that everyone has their own unique journey, and every success or failure holds its own value. Happiness isn't about meeting a societal standard. It's about finding contentment in what you have and what you've built. Ask yourself, how would it feel to stop comparing your life to others? You could finally focus on what truly matters, your relationships, joyful moments, and the lessons learned from challenges. When you shift your attention to these things, you'll realize that your life doesn't need to be perfect. It only needs to be yours, authentic and unique. Life after 60 isn't about looking back with regret. It's about cherishing every moment and every decision that brought you to where you are today. Let go of unnecessary comparisons, and you'll not only find peace, but also discover that you already have everything you need to live a meaningful life. Your life is a journey unlike any other, with its joys, its challenges, and its beauty. Appreciate it, and you'll realize you've won more than any comparison could ever offer. The eighth thing is unattainable or irrelevant goals. Over the years, we've spent much of our lives setting goals, often chasing dreams that weren't truly our own. These could have been expectations from society, family, or even our younger selves at a time when we were still trying to figure out what we really wanted. But after turning 60, we start to realize that not all goals are necessary. Some, in hindsight, are merely burdens we stubbornly hold on to, believing that letting go would mean failure. Let me share my own story. When I was younger, I dreamed of becoming a renowned author, writing bestsellers and earning recognition worldwide. I spent countless hours writing, submitting manuscripts, and even sacrificed personal interests to focus on this goal. But as life unfolded, with family, work, and other responsibilities taking over, that dream began to drift further away. Yet I clung to a sense of regret, feeling like I had failed for not achieving that big goal. One day, as I was going through old drafts, I realized that what I truly loved wasn't fame or recognition. What brought me joy was the process of writing, sharing ideas, and inspiring others. I didn't need a best-selling book to love my craft. Instead, I decided to focus on essays, short stories, and content that could immediately create value for readers. That was when I rediscovered the real joy of writing. My story is a reminder that letting go of goals that no longer fit isn't giving up. It's wisdom. Stoic philosophy teaches us not to get stuck in outdated expectations. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Remember that your time and energy are finite. Don't waste them on things that no longer matter." It's a powerful reminder to focus on the present and choose goals that truly align with who we are now. Research from the University of Michigan shows that people who adjust their goals with age tend to report higher levels of life satisfaction. This proves that when we choose goals aligned with our current values, we reduce stress and increase the likelihood of genuine happiness. Ask yourself, do the goals you're pursuing still excite you? Do they still ignite your passion? If not, maybe it's time to stop and reevaluate what matters. It's not the number of goals you achieve that matters, but whether those goals bring meaning and fulfillment. A new goal could be as simple as learning a new skill, spending more time with family, or simply taking better care of yourself. Life after 60 isn't about achieving more. It's about living more deeply. Every goal you choose now should make your heart race and align with the person you've become today. Because ultimately, what matters most isn't what you achieve, but how you live and enjoy each moment. And that is the greatest goal any of us could aspire to. The ninth thing is to prioritize your own happiness. How many times have you set aside your own desires to meet the needs of others? Throughout life, we learn to love, care, and sacrifice for the people we cherish. While that's beautiful, it often comes at the cost of forgetting ourselves. Dreams are shelved, personal desires are buried, and guilt piles up whenever we think about doing something for ourselves. But after 60, it's time to ask, why can't I prioritize my own happiness? Imagine Susan, a devoted mother who spent her entire life ensuring her family's happiness. Now, with her children grown and living far away, she realizes how much of her time has been dictated by the expectations of others. One day, while tidying up her room, she finds an old photo of herself on a mountain bike, a sport she once loved. That photo rekindles a forgotten passion. Instead of feeling guilty about spending time on herself, Susan decides to dust off her old bike. Each ride through the countryside not only brings her physical wellness, but also deep joy and a reconnection with a part of herself she had lost. Susan's story is more than a return to a favorite hobby. It's a powerful reminder that self-care isn't selfish. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that you can't give what you don't have. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Maintain harmony in your soul so you can do more good in the world." This means you need to be healthy, happy, and fulfilled to truly care for others. Research from the University of Cambridge found that people who balance helping others with prioritizing their own needs often have better mental health and greater life satisfaction. This shows that focusing on your personal happiness doesn't just improve your own well-being, it also positively impacts those around you. So how can you prioritize yourself without feeling guilty? Start by identifying what truly makes you happy: a forgotten hobby, a dream trip, or simply quiet moments to read a book. Take small steps to let go of the guilt that you should always put others first. This doesn't mean you stop caring for your loved ones. Instead, it's about finding a healthy balance between supporting them and nurturing yourself. Life after 60 isn't about sacrifice, it's about rediscovery. Allow yourself to prioritize your happiness, because doing so isn't just a gift to yourself. It's a way to spread joy and positive energy to those around you. This is your moment to live more lightly, more authentically, and above all, for yourself, a life you absolutely deserve to enjoy. So we've explored 9 things that no longer make sense after 60, unrealistic goals, toxic relationships, pointless comparisons, and even the guilt of putting yourself first. But the best part, you don't have to carry these burdens anymore. This is your time to live lighter, more intentionally, and most importantly, truly for yourself. Remember, life after 60 isn't about keeping up with anyone else. It's about savoring your own unique journey. Do what makes you smile, stop worrying about other people's expectations, and find joy in the small yet meaningful moments. And if Stoicism has sparked something in you today, hit that like button and share this video with someone you care about. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can keep exploring life's most important lessons together, because you deserve happiness, not just now, but always. See you in the next video.